So lastly, I just want to give you guys a little bit of information about Attic Youth Center. Again, it's based in Philadelphia. And again, it's just another resource for LGBT youth to go when they need to feel supported. A lot of times, youth and adolescents just don't get the support that they need at school or from their families, like just being able to feel accepted. So this is just another place for them to go so they can kind of build those connections, feel supported. They do things like poetry and art, and again, just surround themselves with people who are like them and who support them. Some meso-level interventions. Sorry, meso-level interventions are just some LGBT school and community support groups for families, depending on where you are located. A lot of them do exist. Just again, for those families who just need help and need more support with knowing how to support their youth and adolescent. And then also some other interventions are just basically just educating friends, families, and social workers about the LGBT statistics, what the LGBT community needs, and just learning different ways for how they to support their youth. What I'm like coming across is that like LGBT youth need support. They need as much support as they can. A lot of them like keep like their sexual identities and their orientations just to themselves, just because like fear of bullying, fear of like not being accepted, that sort of thing. So just educating people, whether it's just on like the terms of like what someone who is a lesbian is and what someone who's transgender is, just down to like just being able to talk to them and just like learning how to accept them and accept their orientation and accept their identity. And lastly, there is the Family Acceptance Project, and I listed their website. The Family Acceptance Research Project Acceptance Project is a research-based project that intervenes and educates families on LGBT youth mental health risk, as well as give them information about like suicide and homelessness and HIV in a family setting. So again, another support group for families that kind of help them get a better understanding of how they can support their youth. And then lastly, I just want to talk to you about a little bit about the macro level interventions. With the macro level interventions, one of the first things I want to point out are implementing more anti-bullying policies in schools. A lot of times schools have anti-bullying policies, but there have been studies done that schools that have specific anti-bullying policies that kind of put protective factors in place for LGBT youth are shown to have safer school environments, and then have like more supportive, like basically students who attend those schools feel safer and feel more supported, just because like those policies are in place for them. And then the next thing I want to talk about is just about child support. Children who are LGBT who end up homeless, a lot of times they end up homeless just because they're not accepted by their families. And as a result of ending up homeless, they're entitled to child support. Specifically, the study that's listed here and the reference is going to be at one of the end of the slides, or yeah, the end of the presentation. Is basically it kind of this article kind of educated me and educates the different LGBT youth and attorneys, and it kind of just basically like spells out like how if children and their attorneys are able to prove that they were forced to leave their homes or forced kicked out of their homes because they were not accepted by their families, then they're entitled to child support. And the specific case that this looked at I kind of looked at the laws in New York, and in New York, the child was able to receive child support up until like age like 20 or 21. So, that financial resource helps someone who ends up homeless. Um, and kind of just gives them more access to like more feasible research like once they're able to receive that child support. And then lastly, just wanted to talk a little about expanding the definition, sorry, of the word gender. Um, Specifically, there was a case again in New York City, and well, it wasn't really a case. New York City, so in New York City, they the human rights law. Sorry, kind of they what they did was is in 2002 they expanded the definition of gender. And by doing that, it included transgender people, so that people who identify as transgender were not able to be discriminated against as well. So they still so they're able to have like equal opportunities for housing and jobs and just that sort of thing. So just more ways for us social workers to kind of intervene on like with laws and policies, kind of on like a more broad base. And then just wrapping things up, I just wanted to say that there definitely needs to be more research on LGBT community, both for adults and youth alike. It was hard trying to find just like information about this community. So unfortunately, I couldn't, dive in as deep as I wanted to do. So just like more research, just expanding the research, even like the statistic that I had given earlier about the 1.3 million high schoolers who identify as LGBT. Just because like even like that study was done by the CDC, and like I specifically remember reading that like it was so new because like they had added questions like on the youth and risk survey that basically stated that what is the gender of like your significant other, and like what gender do you identify as, and like that was just in 2016. I was only 2 years ago. So just more research needs to be done, and even like what the UCLA like the Williams Institute UCLA School of Law, like it was something else that they had mentioned too, just just like because like this population is like there's just so many limitations just because there's not a lot of research. uh, Definitely more funding, more education. I can't stress this enough. That's probably like the same for all of you guys' topics. But just like more funding, more funding. Funding could help. Especially these the statistics for these LGBT youth who are like homeless. Like I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I was really surprised just to see how many identify as being homeless. So just more funding, just to kind of get those people the support that they need. Just because like a lot of times they end up homeless simply because like they're not accepted from their families. So just more funding to like address like those needs and concerns, more education to kind of educate social workers, agencies, families, schools, teachers. Everyone needs to be educated on LGBT and like how we support them. How we kind of address those at risk behaviors. Um, and then one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is just the advocating for safer school environments. I think it's so important that schools just have like more policies and procedures in place, so that like even if they aren't getting that acceptance at home, that at least like the youth that come through the doors of the school just like have like that safe environment. Even for kids who are like abused and like come from like poverty neighborhoods, like school is like their safe haven, and like they spend so much time there. So just like doing whatever we can as social workers, just to promote and kind of educate, and just advocating, just to kind of have like something in place so that they feel safer. Um, that's it. That's my presentation. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Um, these are my references. I'm sorry if it's a little cut off because of my video, but I will post uh, my presentation with my 3 videos as well. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.